He's still breathing. It's the shock.
It's over. It's all right. It's all right.
Hey folks, and welcome to another video of mine. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at A Plague Tale Requiem. And yeah, let's start off by talking about the kind of settings that are available on the Xbox Series S. Now, in case you're wondering why are you talking about the settings on the Xbox Series S? Now, I think it's important because of the fact that, hey, this game first of all is a very demanding game. And I just wanted to show you whether there are any graphical options in this Xbox Series S version or not. And clearly there isn't. Now, the reason why there aren't any graphical options is simply because of the fact that this is an extremely demanding game. And even on your PlayStation 5 and on your Xbox Series X, this game runs at only 30 FPS. You heard that right? I'll repeat that again. At only 30 FPS, and that's the same on the Xbox Series S as well. Therefore, no graphical options are available in these settings. Now, in case you're wondering why the limitation, then I believe it's because of the visual fidelity that you have on this game, and it will become clear as you see this video. Now, this game is gorgeous, by the way. Right from that first frame that you lay your eyes on this game, you know that this is visually gonna be breathtaking, and it gives you your money's worth in terms of the visual fidelity. And every frame reeks of beauty. Every corner has tiny little details that you will appreciate. The lighting is brilliant. The character models, they are absolutely mind-blowing. In fact, they have improved over the last game. And it's a massive improvement. And overall, I believe the level design of the game, this world that they have created, it's a beautiful world, and you definitely want to get involved with this. Now, in case you didn't notice that arrow, I request you to go back and take a look at it. The reason why I made that point, and I'll make it again in the next scene as well, is because on the PC version, in some of the areas, the highlights were really overblown. I don't know why that happened. Maybe it's because of the HDR performance, but some of the details in the distance were lost, especially because of the overblown lighting. And I'll show that again in the next scene as well. In fact, I'll zoom in and show that so that it becomes more clear. So let's quickly take a look at that, and let's zoom into this scene where, take a look at those mountain ranges in the background. You don't see that as well as you can on the Xbox Series S on the PC. So on the PC, those details are lost, but take a look at the rocks. They are way more detailed on the PC. Even the foliage, way more detailed on the PC. The edges of the trees, the branches, the leaves, etc., all of them look way sharper on the PC, and it goes without saying. Because when I started playing this game, I started playing it on native 4K on my PC. And it took a toll on my machine, by the way. In case you're wondering what kind of a machine was I running this game on, well, I was running this on my Asus ROG Strix G15 Advantage Edition from 2021. Wow, that was quite long. Now, it has Ryzen 9 and the RX 6800M, which is a 12 GB GDDR6 graphic card. And even for that, it was kind of, pushing it to its limits. And the frame rates that I was getting on the PC on 4K was just around between 27 FPS to maybe 40 on some of these scenes where I was just standing still. But if I was doing something, then it would go down to 27. That's why I decided to play this game in 1440p, and then I was achieving frame rates of around 40 to even the high 50s on the PC. So the PC does not have that limitation of frame rates, but on the consoles, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and Series S included, the limitation is there. It's only going to be available at 30 FPS because these developers, they have focused on the visual fidelity, and I can totally understand because this game, I don't think it's a game which really requires you to run it at 60 FPS. They're trying to tell a story. It's more like a narrative driven game. And for a game like this, I'm completely fine with 30 FPS. Hey, if you've got a PC which can run this at 4K 60 FPS, good on you. But even if you can't, for instance, I was running it at 1440p, but without that limitation of 30 FPS on the PC, definitely looked way better. And this is a perfect example of why it looked better on the PC. Now, take a look at the draw distance. The draw distance is so much better on the PC. Now, in terms of the assets overall, I think the use of the assets is kind of the same across all consoles and even on the PC. But in some areas, I might be wrong, but in some areas, I think the amount of rocks on the floor, the dust, etc., even a little bit of that foliage, it looked different on the PC. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the sharpness. But this scene is a great example of why the PC shines when it comes to the textures. And if we zoom into these characters, for instance, this bloke here, take a look at the texture quality on the clothing. It's way more detailed, even the beard. And while you're playing this, there is no shimmering effect around that beard of this bloke on the PC version, but on the Xbox Series S, some areas, you have that aliasing kind of a thing going on. I believe it's because of the resolution, because the resolution is just 1080p, and I wouldn't be surprised if it dips below that on this game because, hey, this game is extremely demanding. The one thing that I was pleasantly surprised was how stable the performance was on the Xbox Series S, and even in terms of the visual fidelity, it didn't look that bad. In fact, some of these scenes, there was this nice blur in the background, and I'm talking about the Xbox Series S, by the way, and I kind of like that over the PC version because on the PC version, everything looked very sharp, very crisp. And for a game like this, when you have this kind of a blur happening in the background, it gives it a more cinematic look. And I kind of like that. Take a look at this scene as well. The PC version is way more sharper in the background. But the Xbox Series S has a little bit of that blur going for it, a little more than the PC. And that kind of improves the way it looks on the Xbox Series S. There was also this weird kind of a softness around the edges, around all the characters on the Xbox Series S, more like the softness that you have on these cinematic videos or portrait videos. And I noticed that on the Xbox Series S, I don't know what's the reason behind it. I kind of liked it. And again, it gives it a very cinematic look. So I was pleasantly surprised with the performance of the Xbox Series S. And it will not disappoint you. In terms of the frame rates, I did not notice any dips. The shadow quality is not that great. The texture quality may not be that great. But overall, I believe it's not bad. You also have to consider the pricing, yeah? The pricing of this device is only $300. I make it a point to mention that in all my videos because the PC or the laptop that I was playing this game on cost me close to $2,000. Yeah. So there's a phenomenal difference in the pricing, and for a device which costs only $300 and for a device like that to be able to do this, to pull this off for a game which is as demanding as this, man, hats off to you. So the Xbox Series S performs way more than what it costs, especially in this case. Now, some scenes, yeah, you can obviously make out the difference. For instance, in this scene as well, the draw distance comes handy. The sharpness looks good. So what I noticed is when you have scenes where you have this landscape kind of a scene going for you, in those scenes, the PC version will always look better. But in zoomed in scenes where you have a lot of characters, where characters are talking to one another, I think the Xbox Series S looks better, in my personal opinion. And the cutscenes, hey, they are the same. And again, the use of assets, the shadows, etc., nothing's changed. It's uniform throughout all the consoles and even on the PC. Even if I zoom in this scene and show you the difference, there are hardly any. I mean, take a look at the assets. The amount of assets that are on screen, they're the same. Color reproduction, more or less the same. The lighting, I believe the ambient occlusion is slightly different on the PC version because of the fact that the PC can take advantage of the hardware that is available. And I believe that's why lighting behaves slightly differently on the PC version. And some of the objects look better because of the ambient occlusion and because of the lighting. But apart from that, barring that, I think the Xbox Series S goes toe to toe in terms of what you see on screen. And again, if you're playing this on a 4K television, it even upscales really well. And I was doing that. I was playing this on my 4K television, sitting at a distance of say about 7 feet from a 43-inch TV, and you would hardly notice the difference unless you pixel peep or you have an eye for it. So if you're an average gamer, if you're like a casual gamer, I don't think it's that bad. This game is really playable on the Xbox Series S, and I didn't exactly want this to be a video where I'm praising the Xbox Series S or highlighting the Xbox Series S, but it actually is turning out to be exactly that, because when you play these videos side by side, or when you play this game back to back, and when you're doing that from a distance of say about 7 feet from your television, there are hardly any differences. And if you're watching this video, I would request that you watch this video not on your mobile phone. Kindly watch this on a bigger screen. That's when you'll be able to make out the difference in the texture quality, in the shadows, etc., in the lighting as well. But if you're watching this on your mobile, the changes are not going to be that visible at all. And the same goes even for a distance of 7 feet from your 43-inch TV. The changes are not that visible at all. The only difference again is the shadow quality, the texture quality, and maybe the ambient occlusion, the way the lighting behaves around objects and characters, etc. I think that was a little different. Now, when I zoom in into this particular scene, the texture quality in some scenes does make a difference, and the developers choose to go along with that visual fidelity over the frame rates. Why was it important? For instance, take a look at this tree in the background. It looks so much sharper, so much better on the PC version. And again, there is no limitation on the frame rate. So even the motion of these characters, they look way smoother on the PC version because it's not locked or it's not limited to 30 FPS. On my PC, like I told you, I was getting even high 50s in some scenes where it was not that graphically demanding or where there was not a lot of activity or action happening on screen. Now, overall, I think the Xbox Series S does a fantastic job, and for a $300 console, it gives you your money's worth. Now, a few things that I do want to mention is, and also, I want to hear your comments as well. Now, the main character, Hugo and Amicia, by the way, fantastic characters. You're directly going to be invested in these characters, and you would want to know what happens with them. So the characterization in this game is absolutely brilliant. And speaking of the characters, I personally think that Amicia, the way she looks, there is a slight resemblance to Natalie Portman as well. That's just me, but if you feel the same as well, let me know in the comment section. I would be happy to know if it's just me who feels that way, or there are others out there who also feel that there is a resemblance to Natalie Portman. Now, overall, this is a fantastic game. I would highly recommend it. It's also available on Game Pass, so you don't even have to pay anything extra to play it. And that's what's so great about Game Pass, by the way. Hurrah for Game Pass. And download it, play it. I highly recommend this game. You're going to fall in love with the characters, especially the world building, the character building is excellent in this game. And overall visual presentation of this game is absolutely top notch. So that's it for this video, folks. If you've liked the content, I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like and subscribe button, and also that bell icon in case you want to get notified with all my latest videos. Now, with that said, it's a wrap for this one, and I will see you lovely folks in my next video. But before I go, I would just like to say happy gaming, and take care, folks. Stay safe, and as all my videos go, I would also like to say God bless.